Welcome to The Poetry Joint, a podcast about poets, poems, and poetics. My name, Stephen Donahue. I have a scant knowledge of poetry, and that is the starting point for this podcast, to see what I can learn.
There's a light on in the attic. I can see it from the outside, and I know you're on the inside. Looking out.
Exploring good poetry, bad poetry, sonnets, couplets, ballads, rhyme, no rhyme, grand verse, silly verse, concrete poetry, liquid poetry, words with meaning, words without meaning, old poets, young poets, radical poets, ancient poets, contemporary poets, confessional poets.
Angel-headed hipsters, burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of night.
The Poetry Joint. Hang out. See where we go. Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss, A.A. Milne, Shel Silverstein, Dennis Lee, Raffi, Robert Munch, children's storytellers, and more by the bunch. This episode of The Poetry Joint will explore children's poetry and some of its authors. Once there were words, there were stories. Before there were books, there were stories. And the best stories were told over and over. Some of those stories lost over time. Once there were printing presses, there were newspapers and books, and stories were printed for generations to read and hear. Children are born, and before they can speak, their parents tell them stories, tell them rhymes, and sing them songs. Perhaps a story about a teddy bear's picnic, or a baby rocking in a cradle, or a boat. It's raining.
It's not pouring. The old man is snoring. He bumps his head on the end of the bed and can't get up in the morning.
That is one of the many poems credited to one Mother Goose. Mother Goose is a name attributed to an unknown author or authors of nursery rhymes and other children's stories, the stories and rhymes dating back to the 17th century and perhaps even earlier.
When I was one, I have just begun. When I was two, I was nearly new. When I was three, I was hardly me. When I was four, I was not much more. When I was five, I was just alive. But now I am six, and I am a clever. And I think I'll be six forever and ever.
That poem by A.A. Milne, born in 1882. He was a poet, writer, playwright, and journalist, best known for the children's books Winnie the Pooh and The House at Pooh Corners. Did you have a favorite poem as a child? I believe this was mine, and perhaps is still my favorite. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. When the blazing sun is gone, when he nothing shines upon, then you show your little light, twinkle, twinkle, all the night. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny spark. How could he see where to go if you did not twinkle so? In the dark blue sky you keep, often through my curtains peep, for you never shut your eye till the sun is in the sky, as your bright and tiny spark lights the traveler in the dark. Though I know not what you are, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star by Jane Taylor, who was born in 1783 in London, England, and considered one of the first English children authors of books and rhyme. How about limericks? Do you like limericks?
A young man with wobbly eyes used to muddle his G's and his Y's. When he said guess, I guess he meant yes, and yugs was how he said guys. There was a young man with a pimple who said everything in life is simple. For weeks and weeks he sucked in his cheeks, and now his pimple's a dimple. There was an old man from Crewe who wanted to know how to moo. He studied a cow to try and learn how, but all he could do was boo.
That was 3 limericks by Michael Rosen. Michael Rosen was born in 1946 in England. He took English and language at university. He got a job at the BBC, which eventually led to writing for children's programs. He has continued writing and teaching with poetry, in particular children's poetry as a focus. He has a website, michaelrosen.com, which has all kinds of information and videos on it. Here is another one of his poems.
Yesterday. The day before yesterday, I think I'll go to school. I think I'll take a walk in the local swimming pool. The TV's broken, so I think I'll watch the news. I'll be going out barefoot in my sister's shoes. I don't like her, so I call her my friend. When I leave, I'll start at the end.
Perhaps time for another quick limerick, this one by Anon. A creature of charm is the gerbil. Its diet is exclusively herbal. It grazes all day on bunches of hay, passing gas with an elegant burble. Another children's poet is Ken Nesbit, former Poetry Foundation Children's Poet Laureate. He was born in 1962 in Berkeley, California. His university major was computer science. He has a website, Poetry for Kids, with poems, games, poetry lessons, and more. That's Poetry 4 Kids. Ken Nesbit.
Our magic toilet. We have a magic toilet. It makes things disappear. Just toss them in and flip the switch, and presto, they're not here. We love our magic toilet. It's super fun to use. My brother flushed his baseball bat. My sister flushed her shoes. The baby flushed her bottle. I flushed my radio. It's crazy how things vanish, but we don't know where they go. Our mother flushed the sofa. She flushed our camping tent. That's when I looked around and said, I wonder where Dad went. A vampire bit my neck last night. A vampire bit my neck last night, and though it sounds insane, some zombies chased me down the street and tried to eat my brain. A mummy shambled after me. Godzilla stomped my face. I nearly got abducted by an alien from space. When Frankenstein attacked me, I escaped, but then almost got tackled by a skeleton, a werewolf, and a ghost. A slimy blob engulfed me. Then I woke up with a scream. I've never been so overjoyed to wake up from a dream. Last night I learned a lesson. If you want to keep your head, don't watch a scary movie right before you go to bed.
Two poems by Ken Nesbit, A Vampire Bit My Neck Last Night, and Our Magic Toilet. There is an organization that offers royalty-free posters of poems for waiting rooms, schools, offices, etc. Well, wherever there is a wall in need of a poem, the website and organization is Poems for the Wall. Poemsforthewall.org. They have a small collection of poster poems for children as well. Here is one. It's called Sniff by Colin McNaughton. Caught a cold. Feeling all funny. Eyes are red. Nose is runny. Can't complain. I'm no fool. One good thing, a week off school. Born in Georgetown, Guyana in 1950, Grace Nichols moved to the United Kingdom in 1977. Grace Nichols is a poet, a novelist, and a children's poet. She has been a teacher and journalist. She has won many prizes for her poetry, the last being the Queen's Gold Medal for Poetry in 2021. Here is a poem by her.
This is a rap one called Lady Winter's Rap. I imagine Lady Winter to be a feisty young teenage girl, telling it like it is. Lady Winter's Rap. I'm Lady Winter, and this is my rap. You'll recognize me by my ice cap, by my smoky breath and my frosty nails, by the nip of my kiss and my Arctic air. You'll realize this gal's got flair. 'Cause I'm a cold hot mama when I come into town. I cloud the trees, I blank the lawn. My days are short, my nights are long. And when I sing, I silence you with the weight of my song. By the trail of my cape and my flakes in your talk, by the bling of my hail and my slip in your walk, I'm telling y'all, stick to non-slips before you fall. Yes, better get out your warmers. No, don't give me verbals. Just reach for your thermals when I draw near. I'm Lady Winter, and this is my rap. You'll recognize me when my temperature snaps.
Grace Nichols, Lady Winter's Rap, courtesy the Children's Poetry Archive. I did a search of the words children's poetry on the Calgary Public Library website. It returned 769 hits. Titles like A Poem is a Firefly, or A Light in the Attic, or Winter Bees and Other Poems of the Gold, and more. Audiobooks, picture books, all kinds of books. A much lauded Canadian children's poet is Dennis Lee. Here he explains how he came up with one of his more popular poems, Alligator Pie.
Let me tell you a story. When my children were very young, we read Mother Goose at bedtime. Soon I started making up new nursery rhymes myself. And believe it or not, one of them came to me on a bicycle. It's true. One day, as I was riding my bike to the store, I started hearing some strange words. They had the same rhythm as my feet on the pedals. The first part that came into my head was alligator pie. But some parts didn't have words yet, so it went like this. Alligator pie, alligator pie. If I don't get some de-doo-de-doo-de-die. Then I started hearing another verse about alligator stew. Finally, I turned the bike around, rode home, and wrote down as much as I could remember. And after I worked on the poem for a while, it sounded like this. Alligator pie. Alligator pie, alligator pie. If I don't get some, I think I'm going to die. Give away the green grass, give away the sky, but don't give away my alligator pie. Alligator stew, alligator stew. If I don't get some, I don't know what I'll do. Give away my furry hat, give away my shoe, but don't give away my alligator stew. Alligator soup, alligator soup. If I don't get some, I think I'm gonna droop. Give away my hockey stick, give away my hoop, but don't give away my alligator soup.
Berlie Doherty was born in 1943. She has twice won the Carnegie Medal for children's stories. She is a novelist, a poet, playwright, and a screenwriter. Here is one of her poems.
Ghost in the Garden. The ghost in the garden cracks twigs as she treads, shuffles the leaves, but isn't there. The ghost in the garden snaps back the brambles so they spring against my legs, but isn't there. Draws spiders' webs across my face, breathes mist on my cheek, whispers with bird breath down my ear, but isn't there. Tosses raindrops down from branches, splashes the pond, traces a face in it that isn't mine. Moves shadows underneath the trees, too tall, too thin, too tiny to be me. Spreads bindweed out to catch me, flutters wild wings about my head, tugs at my hair, but isn't there. And when I look, there's only the bend of grass where her running feet have smudged the dew, and there's only the sigh of her laughter trickling like moonlight on wet weeds.
Marilyn Nelson is a poet, sometimes referred to as a storytelling poet, also a translator, a biographer, and a children's author, although she would suggest she's more of a young adult author than a formal children's author. I'm going to include a couple of poems and a little bit of her storytelling that have a little bit to do, I think, with children and poetry. Marilyn Nelson's first, How I Discovered Poetry.
This is How I Discovered Poetry
by Marilyn Nelson.
It was like soul kissing, the way the words filled my mouth as Mrs. Purdy read from her desk.
All the other kids zoned an hour ahead to 3:15, but Mrs. Purdy and I wandered lonely as clouds borne by a breeze off Mount Parnassus. She must have seen the darkest eyes in the room brim.
The next day, she'd given me a poem she'd chosen especially for me to read to the all except for me white class. She smiled when she told me to read it, smiled harder, said, "Oh yes, I could." She smiled harder and harder until I stood and opened my mouth to banjo playing darkies, pickaninnies, disses, and dats. When I finished, my classmates stared at the floor. We walked silent to the buses, awed by the power of words.
That was How I Discovered Poetry, read by Maya Major and Gabriella Wilson. This next poem, I'll let Marilyn Nelson introduce herself.
My mother was an elementary school teacher, and my dad was in the Air Force. We moved around a lot. And in 1954, he was stationed on a base in Salina, Kansas, and my mother taught second grade in a school in Salina. And we have in the family album the class picture, the official class picture of my mother's class. in June 1954. She's seated at the teacher's desk, smiling and surrounded by 20 second graders, all of them white. And she was very aware that she was making history. She was a black teacher of white children in 1954. And every time over the years I've looked at this photograph, I've thought would be really nice to figure out a way to explore the experiences of these children, having a black teacher at that point. And a few years ago, I invited 20 of my friends, white poets of a certain age, to write in the voices of those children. And each of them picked a child, gave the child a name, wrote up a backstory for the child. Everybody got really excited about this. We produced a little, I wrote some poems in the voice of the teacher, and the rest of the poems are in the voices of these 20 children, some of whom have no idea about race. They're second graders. Some of them are going home to parents who are asking, what did that teacher say today? It was every time I read this book, it gives me joy. That was a real effort of love, and the cover art was painted by a second grader specifically for this. So I'm proud of that too.
Yeah,
and
so
I'd be glad to read the.
I think that I wonder if you'd read this, The Children's Moon, which you wrote, which was your mother, Mrs. Nelson. And I think also one thing that was interesting about the book is we look at a picture and it's white students and a black teacher in 1954, but they weren't all thinking about race, right? There's all kinds of things going on, and it's also how we imagine all kinds of things going on in other people's heads, and I think that was probably true, that mix. And anyway, here's the one you wrote, which I just love, and then I'm going to ask Padraig to read something as well.
Okay. The Children's Moon. The Children's Moon is the moon that you see sometimes in the morning. You see a faint moon in the sky. In my navy shirtwaist dress and 3-inch heels, my pearl clip-ons and newly red-rinsed curls, I smoothed on lipstick. Lipstick marked my girls, saluted and held thumbs up to my darling Mel, and drove myself to school for the first day. Over the schoolyard, a silver lozenge dissolved into the morning's blue cauldron. Enter 27-year-old white children. "Look, children," I said as they found their desks, "the Children's Moon, a special good luck sign." We pledged allegiance and silently prayed. George Washington watched sternly from his frame. I turned to the blackboard and wrote my name. I thought I heard, "She's the real teacher's maid." I thought I heard echoes of history. But when I turned, every child in the room had one hand up, asking, "What is the Children's Moon?"
That was Marilyn Nelson introducing and reading her poem, Children's Moon. Marilyn also collaborated and wrote a book she figured was one of the best ones for children that she had participated in, called A is for Oboe, the Orchestra Alphabet. Now, I haven't checked the public library to see if that's available there, but it sounds like a most interesting book.
In the Sky at Nighttime by Laura Deal. In the sky at nighttime, our laughter twists through the crisp, cold air. We watch the northern lights dance and twirl, painting bright colors across the endless sky. In the sky at nighttime, the stars flicker on the clearest of nights. Silently, a hunter returns from the land, a single speck of light crossing the bay. In the sky at nighttime, snow falls fast. The glowing full moon illuminates the ground as the snow crunches beneath our feet. In the sky at nighttime, a raven roosts atop a tall building. Calling out through the dark, he tells others of his find. In the sky at nighttime, a mother's delicate song to her child rises like a gentle breeze. They rock together, swaying in rhythm. In the sky at nighttime, the dreams of many, magical and extraordinary, swirl as we rest. At peace with the day ahead and the one we leave behind.
In the Sky at Nighttime is available as an audiobook from the Calgary Public Library. Laura Deal, the author, lives and writes up in Iqaluit, Nunavut. The poem In the Sky at Nighttime she had written for her daughter to record a little bit of life up there. The following poem is from Harley White, an author originally from California, then lived in Granada, Spain, follows a Buddhist philosophy. Put away childish things.
Yet keep the childlike wonder. Though dreams be rent asunder, our wishes still have wings. Put away childish speech, but not the constant queries that question-rooted theories, which reason cannot reach. Put away childish ken, though artless ways of seeing. In any age of being, we'll find a poet's pen. Put away childish thought, yet not imagination, which sparks our inspiration beyond what we are taught. Put away childish things, but follow deepest desires. Those secret innermost fires burn brighter as hope sings. Put away childish whim, yet not delight in playing. Then when the world's dismaying, our days won't seem so grim. Put away childish fears. Nonetheless, through thick and thin, hang on to the child within. The laughter and the tears, all the livelong years. Put away childish things, while our dusty death is nigh. The utter self shall not die, and karmic kismet clings. Put away childish things, though then in mirror darkly, we face our image starkly, plus suffer destined slings. Put away childish pain, yet not sensations tender, for sunset's golden splendor, or soothing thrum of rain. Therein the simple joys remain, nor questing spirit ever lose, while on the pathway that we choose, neither from love refrain, which makes a heaven of earth's domain. Still, throughout, with faith unshaken, seek enlightenment to waken, thus the bliss supreme to gain, plus not to live and die in vain. Put away childish things, but hold to yearning youthful, to grasp the learning truthful, which timeless wisdom brings. Put away childish things, and embrace the peerless state of illumined grace innate, wherefrom great fortune springs.
This has been the Poetry Joint. Back again in a month's time.
My name is Warren Donahue. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much.
Teddy bear,